From the fantasy armchair, it is the Fantasy Tyrant.
Hey there, fellow fantasy football freaks. Sorry, this is a bit later than I expected the video to be. You see, as some of you know, I'm a caregiver by trade. That's my job. That's what I do. And I had a client, my main client, who I've been taking care of for like 3.5 years. And as I said before, he was kind of at the end of his life. He was on hospice and everything. And over the past few days, he'd been actively dying. And so I was there for, the family, for, all the other caregivers. I'm kind of like the head caregiver for the group. So, I've been working a lot. And unfortunately, the other day, my man Bob passed away. So there's a lot, I had to do there. There was, I'm the rock of the group. And that's what I got to be. And so I had to be there for them, of course, Hey, you know what? There's some shit in life that's more important than fantasy football. I know that sounds fucking crazy, but it's true. So anyway, what I want to do then is dedicate this show to my man up there, Mr. Bob Kreider. Hey, love you, man. I love you. And in honor of that, we're bringing out the fancy beer. Usually it's just like PBR. But look, we got Widmer Hefeweizen right here. All right, here's for you, Bob. All right? Everyone, to Bob. Here we go. All right. Thank you for that and for your understanding. But we're gonna trudge forward. Because my man Bob lived to be 98 years old, and he's full of piss and vinegar, tearing ass the whole way. Just like I do. Never giving up. Full season. That's why I got the championships I do. That's why you're going to get the championships that you're going to get. Because I'm going to help you to get to that level. I'm going to help you tear ass through your fantasy season, through your league. Alright? So here we go. The final video of my draft kit. Alright, this one's all about the kickers and the defenses. I know they're not everyone's favorite positions, but they're still in fantasy football. More on that later. Just like I was dedicated to my man Bob, I'm dedicated to you all season. All I ask is that you hit the like, give me that thumbs up, alright? Share with everyone you know. Your friends, neighbors, family, even your pets. I bet they've got their own account, don't they? And please, if you haven't yet, hit subscribe. If we hit 200 subscribers before the beginning of the season, I've got something great for y'all, alright? Thank you so much, of course, as always, for your support. One last thing before we get on with the show, okay? Do you want a chance to take down the tyrant on the fantasy football field? Well, here's your shot, numbnuts. Just bring it. In the description below, you'll find a link to my fantasy football page. Go on there, add me as a friend, then hit me up on Messenger. Let me know that you're interested in joining the league, and I'll send you the link. This is going to be a 10-team PPR, default scoring, alright? $20 buy-in, winner-take-all league. That's right. Fucking hardcore. Patreon members, or as I call them, my super freaks, they get first dibs. So check out my Patreon, sign up, you get in the league, you get one-on-one consultations and advice every week to help you crush your league. Now the draft is going to be Tuesday, September 7th at 7:30 p.m. Pacific, 10:30 p.m. Eastern. So hit me up if you want to be part of that league, and sign up on my Patreon if you want me to help you beat me and take my money. Yeah, fat chance. Well, that's gonna be fun. But you came here for kickers and defenses, right? Yeah. You've seen the rest of the draft kit. If you haven't, check it out now, alright? But here we are, kickers and defenses. Here's my advice to you for kickers and defenses for 2021. Stream them. I'm out. Peace. Okay, fine. Yes, I did do a top 20 for each underwhelming position. Kicker and defense are the position that people don't talk about, and the reason why is simple. They're both unpredictable positions that don't seem to make much of an impact on how you do in the season, and they typically don't score you a lot of points. And there either isn't a lot of parity, or the parity is completely unpredictable week to week. So essentially they're a crapshoot, but if you get it wrong, you'll get it in the poop shoot. The key to kickers and defenses is to stream one week to week. based on matchups. But you do have to draft one, right? So my top 20 for defense is basically defenses you can stream each week, and also defenses that, hey, you might actually get away with even for the whole season. Pretty much going to do the same thing with kicker. But here we go. Let's start off with my top 20 defenses to draft for 2021. As usual, I'm only going to go in depth with some of the teams, but I'll give you at least a little bit for each one. At the top spot, I got the Rams. Aaron Donald is the best defensive player in the league. Jalen Ramsey may be the best shutdown corner in the league, and the rest of that crew ain't too far behind them. The best NFL defenses make the best fantasy defenses. You might want to take them around early, and you won't want to let them go. They were the best fantasy D last year, and there's no reason they won't repeat this season. Even if they don't, you know they'll be near the top, so take them if you can. The Steelers D has been improving year after year in hopes to return to that steel curtain glory, and have found their way back near the top of the heap in not only the NFL, but in fantasy football as well. They could push the Rams for that number 1 spot this season, with Devin Bush returning from a torn ACL and adding back into the mix with TJ Watt, Minkah Fitzpatrick, Cameron Hayward, Stephon Tuitt, and Joe Hayden. They may be better this season, so get them early if you have to. The Washington football team were one of the top defenses last year, and with Chase Young and Montez Sweat holding down the line, it'll be hard to move the ball against the Washington Football Club, squad, team, whatever. Those dudes are just getting better and meaner and rowdier, so worth a permanent roster spot, I'm pretty sure. The Super Bowl champs broke into the top 10 defenses last season, and that definitely attributed to their success. They're coming back with all the starters on D, bolstered by Ndamukong Suh and Vita Vea. Another D you may not want to drop. The 49ers are a top 3 defense, but lost half of their squad to injury last season. Nick Bosa returns to head up the now healthy Niners D, who were a top 5 fantasy D just a couple seasons ago. Draft them, watch them kill the Lions, and then see how you feel from there. For a first week look, you won't find many better. The ever-reliable Ravens D. Every year they're near the top and you don't have to reach for them. Solid as always. Humphrey and Peters will continue to give QBs and wide receivers alike fits, while Calais Campbell heads up the dominant defensive line. Losing Judon's going to be tough, and that might hurt a bit, but not enough to take Baltimore out of my top 10. Denver may not have the best overall defensive team, but they get a sweet treat in week 1 as they take on a Giants locker room that's so toxic, not even a Kardashian would date them. The Broncos D is nothing special, but also not so bad. They should be able to keep Danny Pennies in check and stack the box against Barkley. Then the next 2 weeks they got the Jags, awesome, and the Jets, piece of cake. The Pats are a team that can be sneaky good season long. They faced the Dolphins and Jets twice, including back-to-back in the first 2 weeks. Sweet. Then they have Winston Saints, which could be money. Tampa Bay might be a challenge, but they have the Texans after that. All in all, a good schedule for the Pats. Gilmore will be out for most of the first half of the season, and they lost a lot of starters, which is why I don't have him higher on the list. But the addition of Kyle Van Noy, Matthew Judon, Henry Anderson, as well as returning Dante Hightower, should solidify the Pats as a top-flight fantasy defense once Gilmore's back, and a team to consider for matchups in the meantime. The Colts D was a thing last year, like an RKO from Randy Orton. It was out of nowhere. Can they return to that glory where they were quietly the 3rd best defense in fantasy? With key players like Houston, Walker, and Hooker leaving, it's going to be tough, but I still think they're a top 10 defense at least. The Dolphins' offense is full of questions, but the D is legit. Most of their starters return, minus Van Noy. But don't forget they got Jakeem Grant threatening to run back a touchdown each week. They were the 8th highest scoring fantasy D last season, so I definitely think they're a top 10 D this season. Now we know the Chiefs' offense are top of their game, but their defense surprises with top 10 performances each year. Part of that is because of the threat of touchdowns from Tyreek Hill on kick returns, but also their D is sneakily one of the best in the league, allowing the 10th least points per game last season and the 2nd fewest fantasy points to wide receivers. L'Jarius Sneed was a breakout rookie last season and could be a nightmare for passing offenses this season. A perennial top 10 defense, the Buffalo Bills got strong on offense last season, and while that makes them Super Bowl contenders, it causes teams to have to put up a lot of points against them to try and keep up. I still like them, but that fact knocks them out of the top 10. The Browns are no joke. With the addition of big-time pass rushers, Davion Clowney and Tack McKinley to team up with Myles Garrett, this team could break into the top 10. That said, they weren't very good last season and play in a tough division. I think they could improve, but not quite in the top 10. The Saints have had a great D that's been overshadowed by their offense over the past few years. This year, though, I think the D shows their quality. They're not very deep, but their starters can hold their own. They were top 10 in yards allowed in both the passing and rushing game. They're just a good overall defense and worth kicking the tires on. The Bears have Khalil Mack. That already makes them a threat. Danny Trevathan and Akeem Hicks helped make the Bears one of the most underrated defenses coming into 2021. This is one team rated outside the top 10 that could end up becoming a top 10 team and a season-long keeper. The uncertainty at QB makes them look vulnerable, though. Draft them, but be careful. The Chargers have Joey Bosa. That makes them fantasy viable. And outside the Chiefs, the division is trash. They could surprise some people this season. The Cardinals have made a lot of moves in the past few years to put a pretty damn good team together, including on defense. Chandler Jones comes back, you got Baker, Golden, they're still there, and they added J.J. Watt. They lost Patrick Peterson, and that's a big loss, but they still have a solid squad. Worth consideration in deep leagues. Vikings could surprise some people. They were already okay, but now they've added Patrick Peterson, so that could be interesting. The Jets and Giants both have really weak starting opponents to the season. That's why they're here and for no other reason. So that's it for the defenses. Let's move on to my top 20 kickers. I'm not going to say much about them, but basically, unless you have one of the top 3 to 5, you should be streaming kickers based on matchup. Koo, Butker, and Tucker are studs. After that, it's a fucking dart throw. I think Bass takes a step up. Suckup is always a threat as the Bucks score a lot. McManus plays half his games in the mile-high air of Denver, so that helps. Take your pick. I basically rank the most accurate kickers who are on high-scoring teams near the top. If you're concerned about kickers enough to want more depth, you might want to think about another hobby. So that's it, folks. Draft kit complete. If you haven't watched the rest of the videos, check them out now. I'll be dropping an update on my top 200 and all my other rankings sometime as early as I can on Saturday. Hopefully in the morning. For the draft kit videos, that's where you're going to get more information. So, watch those, keep injuries and trades and shit in mind. Cross-reference those with my updated list and you'll be set to go. Trades and injuries can make this job hard sometimes. So does life. So thank you so much for being patient with me. Thank you for your support. Smash that like button. Smash the subscribe button, all right? Help me out so I can continue to help you out. Thanks a ton for your support. I'll see you tomorrow for the last-second draft preparation that you're going to need to crush your draft, all right? Until then, I'm out. Peace.